We're going to work to create a multi-view drawing for our puzzle cube example part. And so just a reminder, we have our puzzle cube part that we'll make our drawing for. We have what we will be creating and drawing for the front view. We flip it, rotate it up 90 degrees, and we have the top view. And we rotate it over from the front view 90 degrees, and we have the right side view. So a few reminders on drawing parts. The front view holds two dimensions. The first dimension that is shown in the front view is width. It runs from left to right across the object. And the second dimension is height. It runs from bottom to top across the object. The two dimensions that we'll be drawing in the front view, we have width again. So width runs from left to right across the top view. And the new dimension we have in the top view is called depth. And so we have depth, and it runs from front to back across the top view. If we move to the right side view, again we have the height dimension, and we also have the depth dimension. And so we'll be using those three different dimensions to draw our sample for our puzzle cube part. We're going to start right here on the supplied template. That line that's on our template is going to represent this line in the front view. So from there, we're going to go ahead and create this box shape for the front view of the part. Something to note about this part and the scale we're sketching it to, 1 cube on our part is going to equal 3 spaces on our graph paper. So this first line has gone up 3 spaces in the height dimension. I'm going to go over 3 spaces in the width dimension and down 3 spaces in the height dimension, and that's going to make that first cube that we see in the front view. From there, we're going to go over in the width dimension 2 cubes, so that's going to be 6 spaces. And that's going to be creating the line from here to here in the front view of the part. From that point, we'll go up in the height dimension 6 spaces for 2 cubes. And then we'll go over 3 spaces in the width dimension. And then down 1 cube in the height dimension. We'll connect this back. And we have the front view of our part defined. So now what we're going to do once we have the front view of the part defined is we're going to project some construction lines up to where we're going to be placing the top view. So I'm going to use my straight edge and hold it on the left side of my part, and I'm just going to project a line that lines up with the left edge of the part. I'm going to move over to the next width line. So what we've done here is we've defined a width on our part. Move over to the next width line, project up a line, and then the overall width of the part, I'll project up a width line. We'll do the same thing for the height of the part, and so I'll start at the bottom of the part, and we're going to be projecting up where the part starts. So I'll project this line over. I'll go up to the next height that's represented in the part, project over another height line, and then lastly project over a construction line for the overall height of the part. So what we know is that our what we've done is we've created these construction lines so the features from the front view line up with the features in the right side view, and they line up with the features in the top view. And so if we look at the right side view of our part, this is the view we're going to create next. I can start at this point, which is going to be this point on my part, and I can create the line for that. And so that goes up one block or 3 cubes, and I'll create the line. From there, it goes over in the depth dimension 3 cubes, so I'll go over 9 spaces. And I'll put the base in, and this is going to describe the overall depth of the part. From that point, I'll go up in the height dimension to this projected line that I projected over, and I'll draw on that height from the right side view. And then we'll connect this point to this point, and we already have our construction line there that defines this surface on the right side view. From there, we'll go up in the height dimension, and I'll put a point right here, and we'll draw this line in. We'll go over 1 cube or 3 boxes in the depth dimension and put this line in, and we'll connect these two with an object line. From here, we'll go ahead and work on creating the top view of the part. To do that, we've projected the width lines over from the front view, and we have the height lines from the front view to the right side view, and we have the depth lines on the right side view. So what we need to do now is project over the depth line so we can apply the depth to our top view. So what I'm going to do is from the corner of my part right here, I'm going to draw what's called a miter line at 45 degrees. And I know it's 45 degrees because I'm crossing these cubes directly in half diagonally, and so that will give me a 45-degree angle. And so I'll go ahead and draw that miter line in. And then from that miter line, I'll go ahead and project up the depth dimensions that are described within the right side view. So I'm going to draw a construction line up here. And then I will project that line over from the miter line to the top view. The next part of the feature will be here. So again, I'll project this depth up to the miter line, the construction line, and then I will project it over to the top view. To show that feature in the top view. And then the last one I'll project over is the overall depth of the part. So again, I'll project that up to my miter line with the construction line, and then I will project it over to the top view. And so because we have these two views drawn, we can draw this third view without measuring anything. And so if I look at the top view of my part, here's what we're going to be sketching for this. All of this geometry has been defined. This point on the part is this point on my model here. So I'll go ahead and I will sketch in the line that represents that width of that little cutout feature. It goes back in the depth dimension to the back of the part, which I defined by projecting those lines. It goes to that point there. So I will sketch that line in. From here, it goes in to this point on my part. So all of that has been projected. I'll project this line in. I'll go over in this dimension to this point, which is this point on our part. And I will sketch that width in. From there, I'm going to go back in the depth dimension to create this line. Again, it's defined on our part. Sketch that line in. I'll box in the rest of this to represent this surface of the top view with a depth and then the width. And then lastly, I will sketch in this last point back here, which is this point to this point on our part. The last thing that we need to include in this multi-view drawing is any hidden lines. And so if I look at my part's front view, I can see that all of the surfaces are visible. If I flip it to the top view, all of the surfaces are visible, so there's no hidden lines. If I flip to the right side view, I can see that there's space underneath this. And so right here, there should be a hidden line that represents the back corner of this feature. And so we're going to draw a hidden line from this point. So I'll draw that down. It's a series of dashed lines, all the same length. And so that represents our part. So once you have your visible lines darkened in, one thing that's important to check on a multi-view drawing is that everything lines up. So if I take my straight edge across the part, all of the things represented on the front view are also represented on the top view. And the things represented in the front view are also represented in the right side view, and everything lines up. And everything represented in the right side view lines up with everything represented in the top view. And so that's how you create a multi-view drawing.